Wake up! I need you to be focused.
Don't let anyone tell you that shit.
To me, it's like the equivalent of taking a 5-hour energy shot. But it literally becomes like a raging like wildfire where I'm like, boom.
Hearing your passion and enthusiasm, that's like a whole different level.
I am learning that I am on the right path.
It's the lens through which you see the world. It is the filter through which every experience you have ever had since birth has been through.
The key to building a successful team is to having a team with diverse strengths that all offset each other's weaknesses.
If we just follow what we love, we're gonna end up where we want.
Like some of the stuff you said, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that's a really good way to think about it.
Did you see that movie that just came out about how the laundry was cleaned every day? Did you see that movie? Fuck no, you didn't see it because there's never been one.
I mean, that's a good label too. I like that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not neurodiverse. I'm just fucking awesome.
I have been kicking a lot of ass this month.
Exactly.
Finding different ways that we can give our own gifts out into the world, I think, is one of the most important things.
Knowing that you have ADHD is not surviving with ADHD or the world. You can thrive.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm very proud of what I'm capable of, and I'm learning to be compassionate about the days when I'm not.
I would never exchange the good bits of ADHD to get rid of the deficit.
And we're very creative and we can solve problems and see the world in a really different light.
If I can leave one message to my ADHDers, don't give up.
Like, it feels so good to talk to you about the fucking awesome stuff. Like,
right. Oh, god damn it, Lauren, yes.
I am there with them and I am able to close out everything else and focus on them.
This is like one totally surreal experience.
You want that to touch other people's lives in a meaningful way.
That's all I want.
And that is the ADHD passion side of it that really fucking matters.
Welcome to Lobow's Spark. Hello there again, and welcome to the final episode of Season 4 of Lobow's Spark, the ADHD Wildfire. Today we are bringing back previous guests of both Season 3 and 4 for a celebration of who we are. Today we celebrate a good friend of mine who never gave up. We celebrate each other's achievements. We confide in each other for advice as we continue to bring importance to discussions on mental health. This is a celebration of life. This is a place where it is okay to take some damn pride in what you have accomplished. Whether it is getting out of bed or running a Fortune 500 company, each are celebrated the same because they are the same for neurodivergence. The ADHD fire has become an uncontrollable wildfire with Leo Guinan, Geraint Evans, Dorsey McFadden, Grace Banyan, Dave Cottrell, otherwise known as Mindset by Dave, Dan Corkhill, Lauren Barrett, and Blushing Crafter. Welcome to the ADHD Wildfire. So we're going to start it off here, and in the order of which y'all are on my monitor, about basically what have you done badass recently. And you can be arrogant about it, you can be cocky about it, just this is supposed to be fun and a celebration and a comfortable place to say, I fucking rock, and here's why. Okay? So that is what we're going to do. So, Geraint, you are first on my screen, at least.
It's a hard question, man.
It is. I know. It's a difficult question.
Like, how are we supposed to feel pride? I don't understand this. Also, we've talked about this before. I am British. Like, being like, hey, look at me, I'm really good. That's not a thing we do.
You labeled it as, I'll work on being a badass, I think is what you said. But no, it doesn't have to be as aggressive, obviously, but anything that you're proud of recently that you've done.
So, like, I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, because I've not been feeling good about myself recently. But I kind of think that's bullshit. Like, right now, I am going through probably one of the hardest times in my life. I've got like 5 or 6 really stressful things happening all at the same time. And usually it would be like one thing and that would be enough, you know. So I am burnt out and I am overwhelmed every day. But you know what? Like, I am eating, I am brushing my teeth, I am sleeping okay. I managed to talk to some doctors and some lawyers, and I booked a dentist appointment for the first time in 2 years.
I might have to fly over
And
there.
I'm dealing with it, you know, like I'm managing, and so like that's what I'm proud of. Is that like actually, I'm coping.
Well, and I'm actually glad you said that, because I should have clarified, and that was my mistake, that it can be anything. It can be just putting on your shoes to go outside, putting on your glasses, you know, taking a simple walk, anything. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're...
That's another thing I did. I actually sorted out getting glasses for the first time in 10 years. I lost my glasses 10 years ago, and I've just been living blind since. And now I have
There
glasses.
you go. Hell yeah.
Look at that. It's amazing what's out there in the middle distance.
I lost my glasses like 15 years ago, and I never have found them. I still have not made that leap. But my vision's not horrible. Is your vision all right, like overall, or is it? Do you actually?
Yeah, I can cope. Like if everything was blurry like this far away, I would have sorted it by now. I think but yeah.
I gotcha. Did you want to go into more of what's going on, like that's been so stressful?
Some of it I can't talk about.
Okay,
really.
got it.
Like,
yep.
There's like
legal.
Well, like I said, there's lawyers.
Right.
So
it's the same there with lawyers as it is in the States.
Yeah. Well, you know what the really frustrating thing for me with lawyers is? Once they're involved, my like ADHD take charge and do things, I can't do that now.
Right.
I've got to talk to a man who's then got to talk to another man who's then got to talk to the man that hired them, and I've just got to wait, and I hate it.
Yeah.
With a passion.
It's because that's like the worst way to manage business ever, is the whole go to this person that goes to that. I mean, we see right through that. You just you go to the person that you need to talk to. How simple is this?
Right?
I know, I've never understood that, but does anyone have anything for Geraint? You know, brushing your teeth, huge. Sleeping well is huge. Making a dentist appointment for the first time in 2 years. My teeth are still shitty as hell. I haven't been in the dentist in 2 years either. So, yeah. Anybody have anything else for him?
I think you got 150,000 likes on one of your tweets the other day. I thought that was quite impressive.
There you go.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, like people retweet me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's because Geraint is good looking. Okay, that he gets. That's what it is.
It's not hard. Yeah.
I love it. So next up is Dorsey.
Hi.
Hey, Dorsey.
Okay, I've started actually coaching pro bono clients in my coaching training, and it's going really well, and I feel like I've gotten really good feedback, and I've actually like had somebody tell me that I'm making a difference in their life, so I'm really excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I finished some paintings recently, so I'm paying my bills. So yeah.
Like on time?
Yeah.
That's
Like on
that's
time.
fucking massive.
I'm not paying myself, but I'm paying my bills.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Before I got married, if I had not gotten married, I still would be getting those. I think they're 888 calls from the collection agencies. Yeah. God, what a win! Bills on time. Nice work. Out of all that, the only thing I got out of that was bills on time. So awesome. Anybody have anything for Dorsey? And how's your website, by the way?
Oh, Flex, it's going really well. We've got some new articles up there. We've got a lot of new people in the Slack group. We actually I started trying to connect coaches who needed to fill up their pro bono hours with people who want to try out coaching. So it kind of works really well, and I hope to be able to continue to do that by putting people from the classes like that I've gone through into the program and like help match them up with people looking for pro bono coaching.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all of
Thank
that. Blushing, you are next.
So I have a couple of things.
Awesome.
One thing is that I've done yet another talk show episode on my Twitch channel. And that was last week on self-care in times of crisis, which is very relevant these days. But also in other types of crisis, not just the pandemic. And it went very well. And I've also started studying traffic theory. And I'm doing what I can on that and not trying to do too much. Taking care of myself in the middle of it all. And what more? Yeah, back in May, which is semi-recent, we did fundraising for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in the US. And we fundraised with the Twitch community over $600.
Holy cow. Very nice.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
That's huge. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I have been doing charity stuff for several years. This was my 3rd year with St. Jude. So it's not something that just magically happens. It's a lot of work. And I'm actually going to go and say outright that I'm proud of all the hard work I did for that.
Good for you.
And another thing that I did tell Lobow on the podcast that we had a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, was?
Yeah, something like that.
That I became an ambassador, a streaming ambassador for the organization called Take This.
I don't know much about that. Can you explain that a little bit? I don't know what Take This
The
is.
organization is focusing on mental health and gaming.
Okay, gotcha.
And is doing a lot of things to make sure that things are focusing on mental health in the gaming space and in the gaming development space too. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm an ambassador, meaning I'm representing them on Twitch, but also on any other place I'm on, like Twitter and.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Blushing, one thing that stuck out to me so much when we were chatting was your ability to take care of yourself. I felt was just awesome. I mean, you definitely put yourself first.
And setting boundaries.
Yes,
We
yeah,
talked about that a lot.
that. I mean, that's something that's very, very difficult. I think for a lot of people, myself included. But
It is. It's hard.
especially myself, actually. Thank you, Blushing, very much. So, Dave, you are next. Mindset by Dave.
I'm going to go away from my usual field for a second. So that's kind of 2 things that I've done this week that I'm pretty proud of. Number one is I injured my lower back nearly 3 years ago. So just after Christmas, 2018, I injured my lower back. And up until, was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Up until Wednesday, I couldn't squat for the last near enough 3 years. And on Wednesday, I spent about 40 minutes getting ready for a squat. And then I did one with my, I did 20 of them in 4 different sets of 5 to my old full depth as well. So I didn't want to do it like, and just be like, kind of like, up here somewhere still. And it's just like, this much range of motion. So that's something that, had I have had the executive function to do all of my physio 3 years ago, probably would have happened a lot sooner. But instead of beating myself up about the fact that it didn't happen sooner, I'm giving myself credit for the fact that it's finally happened now, because it's taken a lot of mobility work over the last 3 weeks. And really, with 3 weeks of concerted effort, I made a lot of progress. So, old me would be kicking myself right now for not doing that sooner.
Right.
And the other thing is, which this goes out tomorrow, I'm putting my first video that's pretty much nothing to do. Well, it is to do with mental health. It's not really to do with mental health tomorrow. I'm putting a video up about diversity and how there's no such thing as normal. So it involves neurodiversity. It involves LGBTQIA2+. It involves people of color. It involves physical disabilities and hidden illnesses. So all of that obviously is mental health, right? But it's not a strict mental health. And rather than being my usual dour, serious tone with a little bit of playful, it's a whole lot of playful and a whole lot of fun.
Awesome.
So I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that it goes well.
I love it. So the squat, I mean, you haven't squatted in 3 years.
No.
Are you sore? I mean, can you walk?
Oh, okay. Because I didn't go crazy with the weight.
Okay.
So I used to be an Olympic weightlifter. So I used to be able to, squat. I used to be able to do overhead squats with 100 kilos, let alone regular squats.
Okay.
And I only went. I did no bar, empty bar, which is 20 kilos, and then 30 kilos and 40 kilos. And then at 40 kilos, I knew I still had more in the tank, but I was like, you know what? Let's just put this one in the bank and see if we can do it again next week, because it's, even though I obviously haven't rushed because it's been 3 years, there was very much at that point I felt like, yes, I'm going to go. I'm going to do this.
I'm curious about this because I heard, like, back in high school, they would make us squat for football or whatever. And then about 2 years after we did it, the coach said, you know what, this can kill your back later. Like, literally, just don't. They canceled it from our workout routine. But I feel like none of them really knew how to do it right. So it was just kids getting on there with all this weight and going down up, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. Is it bad for your back or no? I mean,
squatting badly is bad for you.
Well, yeah. Well, doing anything.
Well,
badly.
it's not. It's not. It's if you do it well, it's not. That's the problem. I think them taking it out of like high school coaching is like a high school gym coach doesn't necessily know how to teach someone to squat correctly. And that's the whole thing. Is that why it's been such an issue for me. Is that I think I talked about being a personal trainer when I was on your show. I was a PT before I was a mindset coach. So for the last year of me being a personal trainer, I couldn't do a lot of the moves that I was showing other people to do. So I couldn't squat. I still haven't deadlifted in that time yet, except for with very, very lightweight. I've not done proper form deadlifting since that time, and I've not done any Olympic lifting. I'm bearing in mind that 3 months before that was probably the last time I competed with Olympic lifting. So it's been something that that has been missing for me. And it's, if anything, squatting did actually strengthen my back when I was doing just lifting. It was when I decided to, whilst having only just recently finished an Olympic lifting competition, start training for a marathon at the same time, and then I start putting all that volume of running in with, I'm not really wanting to let my lifting go, and I tried to do everything at the same time. That was where the problem came from.
I thought I was really cool chopping firewood, but that's not.
You are really cool. Chopping firewood is really friggin' cool.
It used to be till you just described that. But thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you,
Dan. You are next.
I can't follow the Olympic weightlifting. I did move house on Tuesday successfully, which I thought was a big achievement because it involves everything I hate, admin and uncertainty and moving between different places and not really know what's coming next. So that went fairly well. I think another thing we maybe even touched on last time was mindfulness things as well. So just incorporating a little bit more mindfulness and meditation into just my everyday sort of thing. That's been quite successful. Hoping to do it more often, but hopefully when things settle down and I finish moving house, that should be a little bit better.
Awesome. So you moved successfully.
Yes, successfully, but it's 2 months and moving in London is just, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. It's incredibly frustrating to move somewhere and inevitably pay even more money for no reason. You just pay. It's just a constant. You might as well. It's just having your wallet open for like a month, 2 months. Really, it's just constant money, and it's all the change in your bills and your address for every single thing, and working on top of it as well. It's just a nightmare. So it's done now. It's completely done. So I'm going to use the weekend to relax.
Yeah, moving. That's not a real strong point of mine. Is anyone else good at moving and has done it successfully? Grace, you're good at it?
Yeah, I'm really good at it because I moved like, I don't know, 5 times in 1 year. When I was in my 20s, I got this down. It is a science at this point.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. All right.
I would buy that book. If you print that book and you save me all of that heartache for a month, I would buy that.
I love it.
Okay, I got another book to write, I guess. Got it.
Nice work, Dan. Leo.
All right. So, I think probably the thing that I'm most proud of, and this might be a little weird, but I decided to shut down my startup in June. So I realized that for the longest time, I was trying to force too many things to happen that just were never going to work because of that kind of like ADHD single-mindedness. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I kind of, all of a sudden, it clicked for me that was actually incredibly bad for my mental health. And essentially, like, I spent the weekend talking about it or thinking about it. And this may have coincided with the last episode. I can't remember when that was. This time is weird. And, I don't actually remember when these things happen. But I ended up shutting that down and kind of started applying for other jobs, which hasn't gone particularly well because ADHD and sending out all sorts of applications and everything. But I've kind of figured out how to work all that into something that works for me. So I'm actually in the process now of building out a new web app for Twitter relationship management that I should be launching soon. I've been working on that now for about 3 weeks. Thought I could ship it in a weekend, which of course was incredibly optimistic because ADHD. But I got it going and I started working on it and I started building it and I've managed to get it going for a longer time. And then I'm actually teaching my first cohort-based course in September on automation principles. So I've been getting all of that put together and building that up. And then actually just this week, I got offered to kind of consult with a new startup. I met the founder several months ago in my kind of when I was getting started. And so she reached out to me on Monday and was like, hey, are you interested in helping with this? So now I'm doing all sorts of things again, but it's much better for my mental health because I'm not forcing anything. I'm not trying to make things happen that were never going to happen. And overall, I am much happier because of that. So, kind of got through the rough patch and I'm seeing the light and it is a much brighter future now.
Awesome, Leo. Now, I saw a TikTok video of you saying that you had your first, customers buying in your first amount of revenue. Yeah. I mean, come on, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, I announced the course because in typical fashion, I got the idea and then I said, well, let's just do it and see what happens. And so I managed to pull in $1,000 in revenue in the first week after announcing it. And then actually nothing since then, but I definitely have leads and I've been building out the infrastructure. But as I said, that's okay because I've got all these other things going on too. And most importantly, it's looking good in the long term because actually the guy who's running the platform that I'm hosting the course on is so he's helping creators kind of do their things. And he said, as he builds out his platform, one thing he was wanting to do is actually potentially have new users on the platform, enroll in my course. So, potentially he's going to end up filling future cohorts with my course for me. So the fact that I'm doing it once and putting it all together will actually really benefit me in the long run, because once I do something once, it'll just get better every time I do it. So it's all about getting that impetus to get like the first one done, right? You know, you've got to figure out how to get it done the first time. And if you need motivation, at least in my case, having people like send you money to do this is now like pushing me to actually, you know, do the thing. So you know, can't let anyone down with that. But it's also fun, and it's stuff that I already know. It was really tapping into like, what am I actually good at? Because, you know, I've done so much like over my career and everything, but it was all kind of within those corporate environments. I had a really hard time transitioning to like, what can I actually do that people will pay me for? And it turns out it's my coping mechanism, which is automation, because I figured out that if I can automate things, I don't have to worry about them, which is great from an ADHD standpoint, because I don't have to worry about them. And I don't need to, like, as a software engineer, my favorite thing to do is when I screwed something up, which I inevitably did because I would miss details and all of that, I would just automate the process so that would never happen again. And it turns out that's actually a really valuable skill that people want to, you know, pay you to help with, because most people don't look at things that way. So
everybody's raising their hand.
Right. So, you know, it turns out that my coping mechanism is actually by far my most valuable skill, which I thought was an incredible revelation.
Awesome. Awesome, Leo. That's badass. I love it. Grace.
Hi. Man, I have so many wins like all at once. It's not even funny. Like I have 3 wins just today, and I'm like so excited about life right now. So the biggest thing that encompasses almost all of it is that I am about 3.5 weeks post-op from the largest surgery of my life. Hopefully there's nothing bigger than this. I had a breast reduction a few weeks ago, and let me tell you, that was, I've wanted that done since I was a teenager. I'm 34. It's been a big journey, and it kind of all started last winter when I had yet again a neck ache, and it wouldn't go away, and it like immobilized me for a few days. And, you know, I realized like, okay, well, I'm going to pick insurance next year that will cover a breast reduction if I'm able to get it done. So I did, and I paid a little bit more every month, but, you know, just a few months into the year, and I got approved for my surgery, and everything went really well. And not only did I get all of that done, but I also had my best friend come and take care of me for the first week of my surgery post-op. So I had somebody there to help me. And the biggest thing that I gained from that was learning to let somebody else do something for me. Because
that's big. That's big. That's very difficult.
And ask for help. Because I'm so used to doing everything on my own. Like beyond, you know, just ADHD stuff. Like I've been single and living by myself for a very long time, and so having somebody else do my dishes and make my meals for me, or pick up my clothes from the floor, like it just things that I really felt uncomfortable letting somebody else do, but I'm so thankful that I was able to do so, and that I had the best help. And yeah, now I'm the 3.5 weeks post-op. I can put my arms over my head and like wear regular shirts that aren't buttoned down. It's a good day. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Grace.
Yeah, thank you for letting me be here.
Of course. Letting you? Are you kidding me? Lauren, how are you today?
I'm good. Hopefully you can hear me better.
It's still a little bit loud. We're just...
Man, I am like striking
There we go.
Devices.
Is that...
Okay.
All right.
Sweet.
There we go.
Yeah, no, I've just like been really enjoying listening to people's stories, and I didn't think about something that I would share. So now you're just gonna get whatever comes out of my mouth. So
it's an ADHD podcast. I mean,
right? Perfect.
What else is there?
I know. I feel like Okay, so, and you might need to pronounce your name for me again.
Lobow.
No, I'm so sorry. Geraint.
Oh, Geraint.
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 It rhymes
Okay,
with
so it rhymes with pint. Perfect. Thank you. So one of the very first things that you shared was about making dentist appointments. I feel like my big win for this year. So I've failed Invisalign treatment 2 times. Like paid for the whole freaking thing and just failed at Invisalign because who can remember like take them out and put them in, and it's a mess. So I'm 34 and I have regular old metal mouth braces, but I've like committed to them, and then I had a period of time where I wasn't so committed to them, but I am like back in line with my orthodontic treatment, and I am feeling like finally for the first time in years I'm not sleeping with like intense jaw pain or waking up with really bad jaw pain, and like I feel really good that I haven't given up on them and just been like go in and say fucking take them off, I'm sick of them, like, or they're driving me crazy. So I feel like this is finally the threshold for success where I'm actually gonna have like teeth that align and don't make my jaw hurt at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. So that has been a huge success point over the past 2.5 years, I guess. It's been the struggle of like, how do I make this work? So yeah, it starts out when you talked about making a dentist appointment, and I was like, oh fuck yeah. That is a struggle for me too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do that, and there's a dentist like 7 minutes away. 7 minutes.
My dad's a dentist. And I failed Invisalign twice and have braces at 34. And like, let me tell you about the shame that comes along with having to be like, so, Dad, Thanksgiving dinner, I'm getting braces. Like, what happened to your Invisalign thing? And I was like, well, lost them, threw them away. But I feel like some of it has been like letting go of the shame of shit. Like, let go or be dragged. It's like a sticky note that I keep on the computer, and I'm like, well, I could drag around the shame of failing Invisalign or whatever, I determine that failure is, but then I'm just gonna let it drag me. So I don't know. I'm feeling like that's a success point. So I'll call it a win.
It is a win. Anything is a win. Anything that you can actually say, I did this and I'm proud of it, is a win, no matter what the fuck it is. Dave preaches this on his show. It doesn't matter what it is at all. Like, it can be, you could be the king of the world, or queen of the world, sorry, or, you could take out the trash and be just as awesome that day. That's what...
I feel that.
Absolutely.
Every day you get out of bed. Every day you get up. And sometimes you don't get out of bed, and fuck it, that's a win day too, because like you took care of yourself. So it's okay.
100%, because the days when you do get out of bed, you're so much better than most of anyone else, in my opinion. Just in my opinion, but I don't know if y'all agree with that or not. But so I'm gonna go on one more thing here before the next is anyone? I know, Geraint, you're frustrated recently. Is there anything that's been frustrating recently that maybe someone else in the group could help with? And maybe just go through and explain what you are frustrated with. And if someone has an idea or whatnot, chime in. And we'll start, actually, Lauren, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go opposite order. So I'm going to ask you first this. Anything frustrating that you are having trouble figuring out?
I guess there is. So I'm like our office, I work at a university, and so they've had a lot of expansions and contractions over the past year, and people coming and going, and especially this past summer, a lot of people have taken the opportunity to find different work. And so my little team has contracted by half, and we're going into the school year with kind of half the people, which means like the tasks that I'm not good at, like the administrative data entry, input, organizing, scheduling, they're like, map out your semester. And I'm like, what's happening tomorrow? What's happening in the next hour? Like, I'm very, very bad at this. And I'm trying to think about how not only to advocate for myself so that I don't say yes to too much, which is like a chronic overcommitment challenge of, oh, you need help? Let me help you. And then I'm like, oh God, I was supposed to do 8 bajillion other things. But also just how to make sure that like the creep doesn't come in and take over, you know, where like I find myself just committing to so much and then not being able to see it through, which just feels terrible. So I don't know. Does anybody have any good coping mechanisms for potential over yesers?
Leo, do you? I feel like that might be your wheelhouse a little bit.
So yeah, I mean, I can say that anything you can automate in that process would be a great win. But I think one of the things for me is to, I like to think of it like kind of collecting data about what you've said yes to or what you're agreeing to. And so in terms of like planning something out, what I would typically do, so I'm a big fan of Notion. That's kind of my go-to note-taking tool at the moment.
I'm trying Notion. I am trying, but it's also a little, there's like a learning curve to it. So I'm like,
there is. So let's see. I can give you some resources on learning it. But one of the things with me, and so this guy here, I'll drop in the chat. He's got a YouTube channel that is really good.
Thank you.
Oh. I was like, oh, who's talking? I'm like, oh, it's YouTube. Okay.
Oh, there's a little chat message. I've got to get better at computers.
I've got one. Use
that?
your students. Meaning you could like do a work study type thing or like paid work internship where they like, you know, because scholarships and all that stuff. And you'd learn the skill of delegation.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that is.
Another one that I've used before. Sorry. Is have a period where you say no to everyone. And make it explicit to people that's what you're doing. So actually say, I'm actually not taking anything on right now, because the big thing that we worry about as obligers is that by saying no to one person and choosing someone else over them, that person might see that we're choosing somebody else over them and then be like, well, you said yes to them, but you didn't say you no to me and all the rest of it. And then that's like, it's horrible. But you go, if you have a period, where you say, you know what, I've taken on too much recently, so I'm giving myself like 2 or 3 weeks where I just say no to anything. You know, and it's nothing personal. It's just, this is for me, not for anybody else. And people take that, I've had one over the 4 years since I've known this trick, but I've had one person in that time take that person. The rest of the time, it's like, because I used to use this for social gatherings because social anxiety is a biggie for me, which is weird because I'm a talk show host and stuff. But social anxiety is a biggie for me. I like having a get out clause, you know. And I basically said, I just got overwhelmed with too many social events for a long period of time. And then I just sort of thought, you know what, I'm saying no to everything. And people take that so much better than if you're just saying no to them.
Oh, man.
So Dave just figured it out.
Great idea.
Yeah, Dave just figured it out. This is was just a ploy to get advice from Dave for all of us.
Hey, look, if you want to do that, this is where my social anxiety isn't. I don't have social anxiety when people want to have big questions.
Right.
But if people want to do small talk, it's like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I love it. So this is all free. So that's it's all good. No,
I like pro bono work.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
So, and we're going to have to move a little bit quicker, so 1 or 2 things. Grace, anything you're frustrated with that you need help on?
You know, I actually, if anybody has any like solo storytelling podcasts, not where they're telling other people's stories, but they're telling their own stories. Lobow, you're actually one of like the only people that are like even close to what I'm trying to do. I just don't really have examples on structure, and I want to make like different seasons for different things, events in my life, and have them like as shorter episodes. But I really don't know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, so mine is like the most structured unstructure on earth. If that, it's not very structured at all. It just is speaking. The first season is literally just me talking about strategy. And then from there, people didn't have to listen to it before they came on here. I just wanted to talk about ADHD. That's, it gives some people some energy, maybe, that, that didn't have it. And then it just kind of kept going from there. People seem to take a liking to, the positive, well, I guess I could say spin, but it's not Fox News or anything. So it's the positive take on things. That's kind of at the core of it, is things can be really, really shitty, but how much stronger can you get because of that shittiness?
Right.
I mean, it's like going to the weight room. It hurts. I mean, fuck, it hurts really bad, but when you get out, you're strong as shit.
Yeah, awesome.
But
awesome.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how to structure podcasts. Dave has podcasts. Ryan had podcasts before. They'd probably be better at telling you how to structure them, because I'm not very good at that aspect of it.
So what kind of podcasts are you just telling a story from your life? Like,
yeah, I'm mostly going to be, I really don't know what else to do, to be honest. But I do want to tell stories about things that I've done. And I know that there's a lot of pushback already when I'm bringing up the idea that it's like a narcissistic kind of play to talk about yourself when you're nobody. And like, I understand that I'm not some celebrity talking about my life, because that's the only kind of things that I'm finding when I like try to search for suggestions on things that might be similar. But yeah, I'm going to do it anyway, and I don't care.
Yes! Yes! Awesome! Okay, sorry. I get really pumped up when some people talk like that. That is...
Yeah, totally. I just don't care anymore, so.
That's good stuff.
If you're trying to learn how to structure stories about yourself, there are probably podcasts, I don't know, but I would watch or listen to a lot of stand-up comedians. That's what they do. They tell stories, and they put all the bits in the right. They know when to drop the right information in. There's pacing. So like Spotify is filled with just comedians' albums and stuff. I used to be a stand-up, right? And that taught me how to tell stories. That taught me how to write copy. That taught me, like, it's such a useful skill to learn how to do that rhythm. That would be my advice.
That's such a great suggestion. Thank you. Yeah, because most solo podcasts are people telling other people's stories, or they already have like a story that people know, and so they want to already know more details. So that makes more sense, though. Comedians do tell their own stories a lot. So thank you.
I have a piece of quick input. I don't do solo necessarily, or I have done one, but the way that I do it is bullet points. I start with, okay, what's the main topic? And if I need to introduce myself, which I tend to need to, okay, where's that going? First or after the topic, and then main points of what I want to say. No matter if it's on my own or with someone else. And then not make it so big that our ADHD brain goes, whoa, too much, overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Can I add one more thing? Sorry. I'll probably have something to say on everything. I'll try and stop. But number one, understand that you are the foremost authority on your story, so you can actually literally never get it wrong. You can't. However you tell it is it's your story. No one can come along and correct it. Number two, I'm going to call them your friends who might think that you're being a narcissist and they are not going to be the fans of your podcast. And that's fine. You may find that your closest people in real life are not the fans of your podcast and don't listen to a damn thing you say. And that is good, because you want a bigger audience. Audience? What the fuck's an audience? That's how you say his name, only with a Welsh accent. It's like if you want a bigger audience than your friend circle anyway, and that's the whole thing, is you're not speaking to your friends. Your friends are more likely to come and listen to you talk on someone else's podcast for the first time because they've never heard you talk before. But once they've heard you talk once, it's your fans that actually start listening to you more, and it's a completely different audience. So to kind of go channel a bit of Lobow's energy, just don't give a fuck what your friends say about it. Like, you know, you're not out there being a narcissist. You don't need their approval. Just go out and tell your story.
Thank you. We needed to hear that.
So Dave is actually a Jedi.
I had a Sith t-shirt on yesterday. Bohemian Rhapsody with the Sith Lords.
I love it. Leo, anything going on with you that perhaps someone could lend a hand?
You know, that's a good question. I actually kind of feel like everything is starting to align for the first time in a while.
Nice.
Which probably means that I'm doing way too much. So I'm going to...
No. Okay, but that's the ADHD shit right there. Make you feel guilty about things being good.
Right. You're exactly right there. Like, things are going well. Like, when's the other shoe going to drop? So, yeah, I think I'm just going to enjoy it and
I love
roll
it.
with it.
I love it. That's a win right there.
Yeah,
that's a win right there. Saying I don't have any of that. I mean, that's awesome. Dan.
I think at the moment, literally just starting things that you're passionate about. So a few of you got podcasts, a few of you started businesses by the sound of things as well. And just the actual starting at the moment, I think is a problem. Yeah, I just sometimes get so sort of passionate about something and it just doesn't happen at all. And it's as if I can't convert that energy into something that happens really. I think there's enough people who are probably good at that here to answer.
You have difficulty?
Oh, this I can help with. This I'm good with. So my advice here is literally find the smallest piece that you can start to validate, the idea, validate the approach. Because what you want to do is you want to set up a feedback loop of you do a little bit and you get feedback that kind of pumps you up for that next step. So, you kind of think of the long-term vision and then literally say okay, what can I do in the next 5 minutes that'll get me closer to that goal? And you find something to do for 5 minutes. And then because you're ADHD, probably that'll last 5 hours. But after that, you'll find something that, you've got something that, you want to put out in the world. And that's kind of the other key. Make sure you're putting it out in the world. And one of the things that I've really embraced over the past several months is the idea of building in public. So when I get something in my head that I'm going to do something, I post it on Twitter because then I'm well, now the world knows. So now I've got to follow through with that. And it was funny. I got to comment on there the other day of wow, you are the most thorough builder in public I've ever seen. And I'm yeah, because this is literally the only way I can keep myself accountable. If I don't post everything that I'm doing, I'll get sidetracked and I'll go off on tangents. So yeah, I end up tweeting I end up tweeting all sorts of details about whatever I'm working on and whatever I'm getting into. And I use Twitter to create that feedback loop for me, and it gives me an excuse to be on Twitter all the time, so I don't feel as guilty for that. So, kind of that's the best advice I've got for that.
That's amazing. No, I think sort of the follow-up question to that would be, when you have started, how do you sort of maintain that sort of that passion or that sort of will or the perseverance to just keep doing it really? Because I seen that Lobow had turned out 4 series of podcasts in about 3 months, and I was just that's not me. I could not have done that in this current moment anyway.
Dan, yes, you absolutely could have. You absolutely could have. You just have to start. I mean, there's a season of podcasts on that. Oh, I'm sorry, Leo. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's about finding that feedback loop, right? So you share it with the world, and then you've got someone saying, oh, that's really interesting. or, you know, let me know when you've done that, or they're giving you positive feedback on it. And I think like the reason that we've gotten 4 seasons or whatever of the podcast so far is because he started releasing it and then got feedback because it's fucking awesome. And that keeps him going, and that keeps motivating him to release the next episode, and then, you know, okay, well, now we'll just do a whole nother season. So it's really about like finding like a community where you get that feedback loop. And if you need somebody, just like send it my way and I will tell you it's awesome, because I enjoy everybody doing everything, because I just like, I see somebody release something into the world, and I spent so long like not being able to like do things, and I'm just like, you managed to like do something and put it out there, and that's amazing. So yeah, if you need me to help you start that feedback loop, I'm happy to do that.
Fuck yeah, I love
Thank
it.
you. That's really
Love
great. Fantastic.
Go do it.
Dave, what?
Oh God.
What can we help with?
Quite a lot, you know. Actually, my number one big thing, right? And this, you'll all find this really surprising. I have trouble getting people to listen to me. Is I once people know me, they fall in love with me, right? You can all see that. I mean, it's happening. You're all feeling it. But it's getting over that first initial step, not in terms of doing the work. And that's actually my biggest frustration, has been that I've been doing the work for years and years and years. So people think I've grown really quick on Twitch, but I think I see growing quick on Twitch as a kind of, first of all, it's not been as quick as I thought it would be. And secondly, it's been for 4 or 5 years before that, I was doing things on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You know, I did, when we talk about pro bono work, I did over 1,000 one-to-ones in the last, for free in the 3 years from 2018 to 2021. And finally gave up on that earlier this year because it was bloody exhausting. And the thing is, for the amount, I don't get that feedback. So I don't know how the hell I've kept going. Like you know, my podcast numbers jumped at one point and then have stayed reasonably consistent and not grown for a long period of time. My YouTube is a slog to get growing. I have all these poems and these great ideas, and people watch them and they say they love them. And then, you know, I've helped 1,000 people, but on average, I'll get 35 views on a YouTube video. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, there's no kind of there's a big disconnect there. And I, for the life of me, can't figure it out. And I don't know how any of you will be able to figure that out, obviously, because I've tried to with all the data and for years. But that's my biggest frustration, is the fact that I used to consider myself either lazy or impatient, and I know that I've put in the work for years now. And when do you stop calling yourself impatient? Blush has got something there.
We are in a world on Twitch and YouTube, for that matter, that has millions and millions and hundreds of millions of other people doing what we're doing. I mean, as in live streaming, creating videos.
Yep.
And you are one of many who has been thinking like that, and you know that. I've been in the numbers trap myself, but I'm out of it now. And the way I got out of it was going, you know what? Like, I'm doing so much, and look at where I was like 4 years ago compared to now. I've been doing this for almost 6 years. I had like 2 people around.
Yep.
And now I have X number. I know the numbers, but I don't focus on them, right? But we're trying so hard, and we're hoping to be going further in numbers, but we forget that we're like one of so many. And it's a good thing that we have more mental health focus on both YouTube and Twitch now, and on Instagram and all that. But it also means that everyone's numbers are going to go down, you know? But we're happy about the focus on mental health. But oh man, it's rough to get anywhere number-wise specifically.
Yeah.
So I have one thing for that. Dave, are you, like, is that your full-time compensation? Like the numbers, do they dictate your income to a certain...
No.
Okay. So I think that's a really good thing, that numbers don't dictate the income, because if you're doing it purely with your heart and you don't care about the numbers, that's how it starts. You can't start something just to go after the money aspect of it. But if you're really good at it, which you are, and you continue to do it, even though the numbers are low, at some point, people recognize that you're genuine, and that is what separates you from the rest of the people.
Yeah, definitely. I have a couple points because I actually am a YouTube consultant. It's part of my job description. If you ever have specific questions or would like me to take a look at your channel, like I would be more than happy to. But a couple things to note. YouTube growth is slow, period. It just, unless you already have millions of followers somewhere else, it just is. Second, what you do is self-help, right? So it's not something that everybody is going to want to do for their entire life. It could just be, and most of the people that are going to be watching are only going to be watching you for maybe a tough period in their life, and then hopefully they're going to get the skills and move on. Yeah. So finding your audience is a rolling tumbleweed. It's constantly moving. So don't think of it as when your numbers are getting low that it's bad, right? It's just, you just are going through another turnaround, you know? And like, if you don't have as many people that you're talking to, then just kind of focus a little bit more inwards for a couple months, and then you'll see things boom again in just a couple months. It's gonna roll, it's gonna change, but that's totally okay.
And I think, Dave, I see your frustration though, honestly, because like you get some great feedback and you're thinking, okay, I'm getting awesome feedback right now. This should just be viral, like tomorrow. I mean, that was awesome. And it should be. Like, it should be viral tomorrow in our brains. But the fact of the matter is that if it's not the reason that food gets on the table, then you can just focus on the help and it will come eventually. I really believe that. I really believe that if you're not pressed against the wall for the numbers, that people see that. People see the genuineness, you know, of it. And eventually that's what slowly gets, you know, high. I think that, but I mean, y'all can disagree, please disagree with me, because I haven't been on social media in my whole life except until February. So
I want to echo
that no audio
that are surprising in different times, right? Like you stumble upon something and I happen upon it when I need it, and that's when I'm like, ooh, someone created this last year, or when it, you know, whether it's a blog or a poem or whatever it is, but you come across it when you need it and you connect with it, and whether that's content in the moment that you're competing for attention for, or it's something that lives stagnant, and you may never know how, you know, one of those 35 people has been touched by what you said in one of those pieces. And I just want to honor like 1,000 one-on-one conversations. I'm a counselor, and like you've given so much of yourself and your heart, and I know that's like burnout point, but I just want to express gratitude to you for that, for giving part of yourself and sharing that experience with someone, because it's really fucking hard. And so you're incredible, and I know that your work is touching people, and I'm excited to look it up now too. But yeah.
Yeah, one more view on every video.
that's yes, another number.
That's it. We're gonna chip away.
But I mean, I think that is the key. Is like, you know, if you're in competition with other people, like, of course, I could say, Geraint puts out a video and it gets 10 billion views, and I'm chopping firewood over here. I could at least get, you know, 19-year-old girls to say, oh, this is pretty cool, and follow it, you know, but that doesn't happen. You know,
in fairness, right?
But here's the thing: is instead of being in competition, we just need to be a team. I mean, that's honestly, like, we don't need to be in competition with the other person that's, you know, more popular or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It's a virtual popular. It's clicks of buttons, people. This is not real life.
Yeah, 100%. I will say, as someone who does go viral semi-regularly,
right,
doesn't get you as many followers as you'd think. And I'll also say, Lobow, my main audience is 35-year-old women, which as a 35-year-old man, good.
Exactly.
If my main audience was 35-year-old women, I'd be in trouble. Actually, it is.
No, Ryan, I'm just
am.
giving you shit. You know that, man. So, I mean, does that make sense, though, Dave? Like, in terms of
No, it totally does. It's just the question I've had, and this is because obviously my introduction to being neurodiverse was through bipolar, not through ADHD, and I am most of the time, I fluctuate between thinking that I'm the shit or I'm shit. It's like I fluctuate between those two places, and it's myself. I'm a very keen advocate for self-validating. So your self-worth comes from yourself, your self-esteem comes from yourself. So the numbers don't bother me too much from an emotional level, except for when they do. But it's from a logistical level. It's like you think to yourself, right, okay, people say all of the advice that's out there, and I know the advice was written by neurotypicals, buggers, but like all of the advice out there that says, you find a niche, you grow, you do this, you provide value. If you provide value, you grow. If you increase the quality of things, you grow. And if you're not, you're not. Like, it's and then all of the advice now says, if you're not, if it's not that the algorithms leaving you behind, it's that your content shit. And it's like, I don't believe that except for when I do. And then it's like, have you ever seen that meme where where's the person is running along with the pickaxe, like the one's walking away from the diamonds and he's about that far away from them, and there's another energized one running towards it with a pickaxe at the bottom. It's that meme, isn't it? Because we don't know how long that guy at the top was walking forward for that. And it's like, at what stage do you say, actually, this isn't working, I need to pivot? Because what is working? And Blush, thank you so much for what you put in chat. I did actually see it. And I know, because we all get into this saying, if one person's helped by what we do, then it's all worth it. Until you help two people, be honest, a lot of you, I can see it in your eyes. Until you help two people, and then one's actually not enough anymore. And if you help 10 people, one's not enough anymore. And that project where I helped that 1,000 people, it was called A Life a Day. I was supposed to do one a day, and I did it for a year. And one of my clients turned around to me halfway through the second year, and I was really miserable when I turned up for work. And she just turned around to me almost intuitively, and she was just like, A Life a Day is not enough for you anymore, is it? And I was like, how the hell did you figure that out? And it's just like, because it is, we want progress. We want to feel like we're developing. We want to feel like we're going somewhere. And I can put all that aside for a small amount of time, but every now and then it gets on top of me, and it makes me think either I've not got the talent, either I've not got the work ethic, or either I've not got the patience. And I used to think that I had the talent and the work ethic, but not the patience. And now 4 years down the line, I'm like, at what point do we start calling me patient? It's like, but that's it. I don't know. It's a constant frustration for me, because I feel like I should be able to crack the code on it, and I can't.
And I think we all feel that way a little bit in terms of breaking through. I think we're all individual enough, with different personalities to think, I really think my personality can give something. Everyone here thinks that. I mean, everyone's got a story that someone is going to love. But it's, to me, and I did something stupid on TikTok way back, or no, it was a week ago, doesn't matter. But that said, because I get told a lot. Actually, it was my friend's dad told me this the other day. He said, Lobow, you're a legend in your own mind. I go, thank you. And he goes, that's supposed to, I'm just making fun of you. And I go, yeah, but think about this. You got to be a legend in your own mind to be a legend in other people's. Blushing. Thank you, Dave, by the way, for that. That was
okay.
So I was talking on the podcast episode with Lobow about being in the process of getting testing for ADHD. And I know that I said I am pretty good at setting boundaries. But in this process of getting appointments, I've now got one appointment next Friday and one appointment the 3rd of September. The outpatient clinic booked those for me. Now I'm going to go into a situation where they're going to say, okay, when can you come in next, and suggest times? And I have a hard time going, you know what? I really can't come in more than this and this often because I have a physical condition that makes it so that I can't push myself. And a medical appointment every week for like 10 to 12 weeks is not going to happen. If I do, I will crash hard and potentially for a really long time. But, oh my gosh, it's hard to say, no, I can't come in every week for 10 to 12 weeks. And I'm not even going to apologize, but how in the world do you say no to that? How do you say, okay, I actually needed 2 weeks in between, and then have them be fine with that?
I mean, what I would do is tell them exactly, you know, you don't even have to say exactly, but say that it is not part of my physical ability to do these things. And if they're a doctor, they're supposed to know, they're supposed to understand that. Of all the people that you could be telling that to, that should be the best. And if that, for some reason, if they do give you a really bad time, ask for their manager. I don't even care. Like that's not how you should be treated by a doctor. That's the whole point. They're supposed to help you. So at the same time, I totally understand the frustration because, you know, maybe we're used to being told no before, or you're just terrified because maybe a job or something wouldn't be okay with that on a normal basis. But this is a doctor, and like you have all the power in the world to do it. You just gotta have the strength to do it is all I think. So nothing easy, but
no, I think my nervousness is more about the neuropsychology appointment I'm having this coming week is actually already divided into 2 because I was supposed to be there for 6 hours and I said, no, absolutely not. Plus an hour each way travel and waiting time for the transport home. That's not. And they divided it into 2. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, which is probably not what they're thinking, that, oh, do we have to divide it even more? Like, we can't just finish the second time? And with the appointments with a psychologist, it's 45 minutes each time. And normally, they will go 45 minutes every week for 6 or 7 weeks, and they're going to be done, right? Which is not going to happen. I need to say, okay, you know what? Can't do that week because I have another medical appointment, and I can't do every single week with medical appointments. So, okay, we're going to have 3 weeks in between 2. But I have to. It's more the nervousness and the, uncomfortable feeling.
I was going to say, I think when I'm in that similar situation, it's just best remembering as well that no one knows you like you know you. So even if they've, doctors obviously have to study for a long time to be able to practice, but they still don't actually know exactly how you're feeling, especially when it's a condition that maybe isn't visible. There's still the best authority on that is you. So just keeping that at the front of your mind as well.
If you're fearful of saying no as well, you can do it without saying no. You just say yes to every other week. So you say to them, would it be possible for me to do every other week because of this? Or even just say, would it be possible to have them every other week? And you're asking a question rather than saying, no, I can't do that. Because you said, whenever you said the word no, when you were bringing up the initial point, it seemed like the word no itself is kind of one of the stopping points. So actually try and suggest what you actually want. And even if that is still too fearful to say it face to face, write it down. Write it down, and it's there. You don't have to worry about the words fail you when you get in there. The words are on the piece of paper.
I think part of it is too that I have ME, or myalgic encephalomyelitis, also known in the UK as CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome. It's not necessarily always been taken seriously in the psychological world, and I have been taken seriously by the first person I saw, but I'm not seeing that person again. I'm seeing 2 other ones. So yeah, I think that's in the back of my mind too.
I feel that fear. I have Lyme disease, and I feel you when you go into someone and say, here's what's happening to me, and here's what I can and can't do, and setting that boundary. I just want to echo, I love what Dave just said about rather than framing, I can't do this, saying like, I need appointments every 2 weeks, or just upfront before they even say we schedule appointments every week. Is that okay with you? Being like, actually, I need this, rather than saying that no. I feel like that's a huge boundary that I struggle with too. And you know, if you have a practitioner like a diagnostician, you know, who works with you medically, to be able to support that, that was something that was really helpful for me in getting accommodations around Lyme disease too. So having your like medical practitioner writing something in support could be a potential strategy if you're really worried that they're going to not see you or not take on your case for treatment, which would be fucking negligent and terrible. And if that happens, like,
they already took the case on though, which is
right. So like,
yeah.
you're in, like, that's a good thing. But
I like
yeah.
that. I like the I need. I really like that. Using the I need and then telling them what I need.
Awesome.
You got this.
Love it. All right, Dorsey.
Well, I've got a huge hole in my ceiling and nobody can do anything about that. Some sleeping issues, but here's a good one. I was just, my doctor thinks I have the MTHFR gene, which is something I'm just having to figure out. It messes up with all the vitamins and nutrients in my body is not being absorbed, and it's taken a really long time to figure out, but yay for finally figuring it out.
So is there...
I don't know if there's a question there.
Is there anything that you are struggling with that maybe someone in the group could help, aside from advising you to get a tarp for the roof and then just not worry about it for 3 years?
Maybe supplementation for it? Yeah, I wish.
Yeah. Great.
I mean, if anyone's got like $2,000 spare for a lawyer, that'd be great. No, to be honest, like, I want to thank you, Lobow, for doing this thing, because it made me think about what's going on in my life. Like, I was sat here, like, before agreeing to do this podcast and thinking, oh, Christ, I've got to come up with something, right? I was sat here, like, living my life in this very stressful time, feeling, like, guilty for, like, not tweeting as much as I normally do, or not posting many TikToks, right? Like, I was like, why aren't I doing all these things that I like doing like that? But having to answer this question has like reframed that for me.
Awesome.
So I kind of don't feel like I need any specific advice from anyone, because I do sort of think that I'm doing the best that I can right now.
Well, yeah, and it's not about the advice necessarily. It's just what you're going through. You know, and if someone has a thought, say it. If not, great. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, this is supposed to be a place you can be safe and not worry about all that shit. You know?
I mean, if anyone's got any overwhelm, burnout strategies,
avoid lawyers would be my first. Because lawyers will burn you out so quick. No.
A big one that I've heard recently is finding the things that you don't need to do that you think that you need to do. I think a lot of us have things in our routines that are just habit now, and maybe it's just like not the season to be doing that. You know, maybe there's some things that you can put on the back burner for a little bit and they'll be there when you get back. Maybe they won't. But maybe that social media thing might be part of that, like just kind of giving away the reins and being like, okay, well, right now I don't have to worry about this. And just, even though you're already not doing it, taking the stressor of thinking of, you know, like I'm supposed to be doing this is really freeing. Like just knowing that you're not supposed to do the thing that you're already not doing, you know?
Yeah.
I would say also spending time out in nature always really just jolts me back to center, and deep breathing, because we always forget to breathe.
Sorry, yeah.
And you've got whales on your doorstep. You know?
Well, that,
but
oh,
the one big thing that I've got a slight obsession with this word recently, and it's the word permission. Give yourself permission to have the time off, because look, here's the thing. You can do option A, which is work your ass off and try and push through, or you can do option C, which is take the time off and recover. And there's a reason I missed out B, because you're going to do B, which is continue to try pushing through, but maybe take the time off, but beat yourself up about the fact that you're actually taking the time off, which actually isn't time off in itself, because you're feeling exhausted from beating yourself up while you're trying to take time off. So, like, do A or C. I mean, A is probably going to burn you out as much as B does, but C, it's you know, there's an expression I like to use for this, which is if you want to have your best days, you can't neglect your rest days. You know, this is the most, in the world of productivity porn, looking after yourself, giving yourself that time to recuperate, giving yourself that time to kind of come back stronger and actually handle the clear shit that's going on in your life if lawyers are involved. Like, you know, it's important, and you will, as a result of taking that time back for yourself, you will come back stronger, but you've got to give yourself that permission to do it. We'll all give you permission. We'll all like give you a full-on signed permission slip, but it doesn't matter if when you get home, you get all those permission slips and go, oh, they're nice, and put them on the shelf over there, and then just go, not been on TikTok today. You still come up in my For You page, don't worry.
That's where I know you from. I just realized. I'm like, oh my God.
If you imagine him talking this way,
like,
and then
oh
him
my
talking
God.
back, and then another version of him talking back that way, and occasionally putting an American accent on you there.
Yeah, like I'm just putting it together. And my advice is something that a student's grandfather said to me once. She was an 8th grader, and she was having a struggle bus of a time. And I wrote it on a sticky note, and I keep it on my computer along with that let go or be dragged. And it just says, don't let the bastards get you down. And I'm like, all right, I can't let things drag me, because like I'm alive today and I'm here for it, and it's the good and the bad, and sometimes it's the ugly, but soon it'll be the glad again, and I just got to stick through it. So don't let the bastards get you down. From my student's grandpa.
And at the end of the day, all of those things are clicks of a button on a computer screen. That's not real life, and that's kind of what I wanted to create with this. I wanted something real, that I didn't care about the clicks or the whatever. I wanted to talk to real people, not, you know, hitting a heart on a screen, or, you know, that shit just doesn't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things.
But the dopamine.
I know. But the dopamine. That's very true. That is very true.
I've just heard, but yes, can we get some exclamation mark love, exclamation mark hype, or occasionally exclamation mark thirsty, which stands for thirsty but worthy.
I love it. I love it. So, Lauren, speaking of, you know, like what matters and life and all of that. So, as you all know, the story that I've told you, you know, multiple times, or you've heard it on all the podcasts. So, my good buddy Will lost his wife 2 years ago, and he has been listening to the podcast. He listens to these things like crazy, and anytime that he is feeling down, he listens to one of the episodes with y'all talking, because he truly believed that no one cared about mental health. That's what he believed. When his wife died due to mental illness 2 years ago, he thought that no one cared, that no one was addressing it, that no one was willing to talk about it, have these kind of conversations, or, God forbid, maybe be positive about some of the characteristics that you have. And he wanted to say thank you to y'all, but he is not like me in terms of, you know, he's a little bit more quiet or whatever. He said, can I send a video? I said, sure. And basically what he told me was, you make sure those people understand that, like, they have no idea who they're reaching. Like, no idea. And it's not, and he was like, it's not because of you. And I said, yeah, it obviously isn't. He goes, it's because they are working every day to talk about mental health. It is a big fucking deal. but he never believed anyone else believed it. And y'all have given him just, I can't even tell you.
Hi everyone, I'm Will, a friend of Lobow's. I know he's discussed some of my story on his podcast. I wanted to apologize for not making the phone call today, but I wanted to send everyone a shout out for being advocates for mental health. I know mental health can be a topic that is avoided or misunderstood by some people. And honestly, in my younger days, before I had any real exposure to it, I was probably one of those. So I just wanted to say thank you and keep that fire burning.
And the numbers don't really matter because he is a, quote, number, and that matters. Like a lot. Anyone that has ever dealt with a mental illness, death, or has maybe even considered it themselves or whatnot, I mean, that's kind of a really powerful story there, because he didn't give up ever, and he still gets down all the time, and then he goes through his phone and clicks on one of these things that lasts an hour, and by the end of it he's like, good, people are talking about it, I'm better. That's all he cared about. It was just people talking about it. It wasn't a strategy, it wasn't a do this, a do that, it was just they're talking. And it matters. So
now we got to get everybody else talking.
And that's where the numbers come in. So, like Dave was saying. But
working on it, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. But you get the idea. And he's very grateful to all of you for...
I was going to say we're working on it one person at a time. Sometimes you talk to one person about mental health, and then that person later on talks to another person about it. And then it goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big believer in forward karma rather than backward karma. So you do something nice for someone else, and that just makes them a little bit better. And then maybe they act a little bit nicer that day to the people around them, and that affects them, and the whole thing just goes forward. I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah. So
I also want to just say thank you for starting this podcast and for inviting all of us and for starting a discussion about ADHD in general and giving us a positive way to look at this stuff instead of constantly talking about the ways that it inhibits us or whatnot. It's really nice to be able to have a place to just kind of celebrate and to have other people and to meet other people and the fact that we're able to help your friend, and it feels like a vice versa thing. So I'm happy for it.
And that's the great thing about, one of the great things about ADHD is that, I mean, the goal, y'all might have not had a goal by being on my podcast of helping somebody. Maybe you just wanted to let off some steam, or maybe you wanted to, have a chat or whatever. But, the goal that you didn't even know was that you really helped somebody else that really needed it. Just by saying yes to doing it, which is, I think, fascinating in its own right. You never know. So something I am proud of is this minus the non-audio. And Dave, you get your way. I'm going to start streaming in a week. And but only once a week, and I need help on the technology because, good Lord, I don't know how y'all deal with that.
I'll help you.
All right. But no, and I told him today, I said, I really like doing this, and you don't get me here without allowing me to be there also. So that was an easy one.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So I'm proud of that. Very, very proud of that. All right, 5 questions, and then we'll cheers it up, and then it'll be over, and y'all can go to sleep or do whatever you need to do. How many of you, yes or no, and this is a little bit of promotion, but that's okay. How many of you are faster than anyone that you know? And I don't care about the reasons why you're faster, due to procrastination and all that. Thank you. but
At work or running? Because
in any way, are you the fastest person that you know? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Are you the most passionate person that you know?
I mean, I know
Yeah.
you, so
Oh,
that's...
yes.
But, yeah.
But that's we got to build it.
That's a yes for me.
Yes for you.
I frequently overwhelm people with my zest. So
Good.
yes.
Good. Overwhelm.
Same.
Good. Overwhelm the
Yeah.
shit out of them. Fuck
Me
them.
too.
Fuck them. If they can't take some passion, then they need some heart boost. Good. Yeah. No, I love it. How many of you exercise? All right, so we're.
I really miss it. I'm post-op, and I like 2 more weeks, and I can exercise. I'm really excited about it.
Awesome.
I think my definition of exercise, unfortunately, is skewed, but I walk my dogs a lot.
No, that's
I walk
that
stairs
is
in my
exercise.
house.
That's being active. It doesn't matter.
I've started doing that more.
Good.
Longer walks with the dog, and it's been huge for me.
I climb stairs in my house, up and down.
I love it.
Yep.
How many of you are the most reliable to other people when it matters the most?
Yeah.
Except for when I'm not.
I remember.
Yeah, that. That right there.
Yeah, that's
It's the when it matters the most.
When
that
it
makes
matters
a yes.
the most
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. I remember Geraint saying, I'll never forget this. He said, I'm an excellent caregiver. And that really resonated with me.
Mhm.
And that's true. Okay. How many of y'all are really good at reading people? You pretty smart doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, a little too well sometimes, I think.
Yes.
I wish I couldn't tell, to be honest, sometimes.
Having the ability to block some of it out would be nice a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's
Do you-
really hard.
Can I ask you, Lobow, do you know the VIA character strength survey?
Nope.
Well, they've done a like an ADHD one with the school that I go to, ADDCA, and in ADHD people, the 2 that come up the most often are love and humor.
Really? I like that.
And I love me some humour.
Yeah.
I got that.
So, I mean, the bottom line is every single person here has speed, they're passionate, they exercise, they're reliable when it matters, and they're really, really fucking brilliant. So, I rest my goddamn case on this. I mean,
That isn't a randomized control trial. I don't know what it is.
I know, right? But I mean, no one that I have talked to, no one doesn't volunteer, hey, I'm really fast, or hey, I have a really good heart, or, you know, it matters. You don't have to follow a strategy, you just have to know how good you are.
The bad side of fast is how many bruises you can get when you run into the corners and shit.
Yep.
Oh, I do that all the time.
That's the ADHD part.
Right. But
I feel exposed. I feel too seen there.
yeah, but bruises heal.
Yeah, but your doctor's constantly saying you have an iron deficiency because you've got bruises all over your body. And people are asking, you know what?
Well, then just tell them I don't have an iron deficiency. I just get bruised because I'm falling down all over the place. Deal with it. Give me some medication.
Actually, it's pretty common for ADHD people to have an iron deficiency.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's
zinc and magnesium as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So like
we don't eat
those
well.
are the minerals are what help regulate your dopamine. So it actually might. There's like a whole like spinny web of stuff. Like
Magnesium is the best thing in the world. Supplement with it, you get better sleep, you get better everything.
Leo, is that the soccer player? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that was the t-ball player.
Okay, because I remember after we spoke, your son went to a soccer game and kicked ass. Is that right?
Yeah, he did. He scored his only goal that he's ever scored in
I love it.
club soccer.
I love it.
So
I love it.
you told him to go out and kick ass, and he did. So it was great. So I just need you to give him a pregame pep talk every game.
Maybe we'll wait till he
we'll
gets a little older.
schedule that.
But yeah, no. But thank y'all very, very much for doing this. I just want you to realize how awesome you are, and I want you to take pride in yourself. That's it. I mean, that's all this is just be confident in yourself. Look at what you do that helps other people. I mean, if you can't get pumped up about that, I mean, that, like, good Lord. Y'all are all amazing people. I haven't met one every person that I've asked that has come on has been this unbelievable person. So just keep
Sorry, can I ask the other British people here, like, are you deeply uncomfortable whenever Lobow talks about how amazing you are?
I brag about it.
I would have been.
Don't you think that's ADHD people in general, though? Just from years of
got a layer of
down,
Britishness
putting
on top
ourselves
of it,
down.
Yeah, it's the whole, you know, I'm bitter at the world or whatever. What I'm telling you is that you make less bitter people out there by talking about this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Everything that all of you are doing is helping people, so fucking accept it and say, I'm awesome.
Thank you, I'm fucking awesome.
Thank you, Dorsey, goddammit.
I'm awesome
Do
too.
we need to put American accents on it?
America.
I can do that. Oh, I'm fucking awesome. There we go.
The biggest change for me in all this and why I can actually accept it now is a few years back I trained myself how to accept compliments because I realized that I accepted insults and rejected compliments, and that's the wrong way around. So now I reject insults and accept compliments because accepting insults but rejecting compliments is like accepting poison and rejecting water.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're so good at, like, as soon as someone says something bad about us, we're like, that's mine, I must keep this and dwell upon it all night. And as someone compliments us, it's just like, yeah. So I do the opposite. So historically I'd be very much with you on this, but yeah, I've got used to it. Because
have you written a book, Dave?
I've not. I can't write a book. I've written. Actually, have I written a book? Is it lying around there somewhere? I've written a fiction.
Well, that's the whole. I mean,
does that fiction teach me how to do that thing? Because
do you know what? Right? It's simple but not easy. Right?
Right.
You just say thank you, right? And it feels super weird at first, right? It feels super weird at first. It feels wrong at first. And do you know why it feels wrong at first? Because your technique of how to accept a compliment your entire life has been to reject it. So as a result, that's your natural. It's not natural, it's learned, right? You've learned it over time, but because you've done it so many times, you feel good at rejecting a compliment. So therefore, feeling good at rejecting a compliment makes you feel capable of doing that. You feel incapable of doing the other thing because you've not accepted compliments very often. So the first time you do it, it's going to be like, the first time. Did you learn Welsh from birth? Basically.
No.
Or did you learn it later on?
Well, and that's the thing. It's not compliment. Like, I'm not complimenting y'all. I'm just telling you this is who you are as people.
But you're telling us we're awesome, which is a compliment. And so thank you.
But, yeah, but it's not like, Lauren, you have great hair today, or that's a compliment. What I'm saying is this is who you are.
See, did anyone else go, what do you mean today? I have great hair every day.
No, never. What?
I'm just saying you're naturally driven towards helping others, which I'm sorry, that I respect. That's just my thing.
What was my alarm telling me I need to take my medication?
See, I'm telling you what, blushing has this unbelievable system of self-help. It's just incredible.
I can say that the reason I have my alarm on every 8 hours now is that I messed up ADHD brain forgetting my medication for 36 hours 2 weeks ago. Got me freaking sick. I was sick for more than a week.
Unbelievable. That's...
Even though I went back on my medication, I was really sick for a week. So, yeah, use alarms, please.
So, my apologies greatly for complimenting all of you. But,
thank you.
Cheers.
Don't ever change.
Cheers. Ever. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
We'll do this again sometime. I mean, I'm going to send, I don't care how many episodes I ever do, I'm still sending the Zoom link to all of you. So you just pop in and make some inappropriate comments or do whatever the hell you want to do. It's fine with me.
I'm all for those inappropriate comments. I will be there.
I don't even know what an appropriate comment is.
No, yeah, I'm not sure.
I love it. So let's do one last thing. Any words of advice for anyone else? It has to take 10 seconds. I'm going to put you on the spot. Dan. Any advice for anyone with ADHD?
Be fiercely you.
Awesome.
Be yourself.
Grace.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Damn it, you took mine.
Awesome. Dorsey.
Seriously?
I'm just kidding. Lauren.
Okay.
Let go or be dragged.
Leo.
Look at your coping strategies for profitable skills.
Blushing.
Take care of yourself first. You cannot be there for others before you do.
Grind.
Follow Dave on YouTube.
I love it. Dorsey.
Build self-compassion first, and the rest will follow.
And the Jedi. Dave.
You are not weak. The journey is just difficult.
Awesome. Cheers.
You can find that in a full video on YouTube.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
I love it. Cheers, y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great one.
Yes.
Right, see ya.
Y'all have it. That was fun as shit.
This episode is dedicated to you, Lauren. We are still working. It is also dedicated to all of the people that continue to have these conversations. And Will, I got your back, man. Let the wildfire spread.